this morning. One Johnson County family is praying for healing after a brush fire explosion placed 17-year-old Braden Dwyer in critical condition. And snow and ice left behind by that major winter storm has created serious challenges for food pantries in eastern Kentucky.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Monday, February 9th. The time is now 5:32, and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Duswell for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, my driveway is still very icy. I'm scared to walk on it. When will that go away?
Well, the good news is we're going to be warming up today, and for most folks tonight, we're not going to see those temperatures dropping below freezing. So hopefully, if anything melts, it's going to stay melted. That's the goal, right? Unfortunately, though, this morning, still below freezing. So yes, you have to deal with some of those renegade pieces of ice here and there. Just something to keep your eyes out for. Most folks are in a mixture of the 20s and 30s, but the closer you travel to West Virginia, the colder those temperatures will be. We're talking 19 right now in Louisa, 16 degrees in Logan. By the afternoon, we'll keep up with the cooler trend for the more northeastern counties as a mixture of the 40s settles in. But as you travel more towards that Kentucky-Tennessee border, take a look at those temperatures. We're talking upper 50s for a lot of folks. If you travel towards Jacksboro in Tennessee, if you get enough sunshine, I can see that easily hitting that 60-degree mark. Now, as we look towards satellite and radar, just a little bit of clouds hanging on for this morning. That's the trend that we'll continue to see. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies are in the forecast. Not a drop of water is expected for your Monday. Now, Tuesday in the late evening hours, that's when we'll start to see that next chance of rain settling in. But overall, here's a look at that 12-hour forecast. Again, mostly partly cloudy skies. High temperatures around that 3 to 4 p.m. time frame. Neely.
Thank you, Megan. We have an update on a fatal car crash that happened in Laurel County last month that left one person dead. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office reports that 54-year-old Stephen Jones of Xena, Ohio, was taken into custody by the U.S. Marshal Service in Ohio Wednesday. This is following the investigation of a two-vehicle crash that happened on I-75 southbound near mile marker 46. William Darnell of Corbin died in the crash. Jones is charged with vehicular homicide and a DUI. He is currently at the Greene County Jail in Ohio and is awaiting extradition back to Kentucky. A Johnson County teen is in the hospital after a brush fire incident last month, and his community is hoping to help as he heals. WIMT's Buddy Forbes has those details.
Many people in the Paintsville community are raising their hands in prayer and raising money for a family in need.
We've known him his whole life and his family their whole lives. Brian Dwyer and Stephanie Dwyer, they've been a pillar in our community for years.
17-year-old Braylon Dwyer was burning brush 2 weeks ago when flames reached the fuel can he was holding, creating an explosion that resulted in severe burns to more than half of his body.
They got him stable, and then they transferred him via helicopter to Columbus, the pediatric hospital in Columbus. They have a burn unit, so that's where he is currently laying in the PICU there.
The thought of him lying in a hospital bed is a stark contrast to the Braylon the community knows and loves, saying he was an integral piece of the community revival that broke out in November.
He was there constantly. He was there with the singing. He was there worshiping with other people.
Now, as his family prays and pauses, with several community fundraisers underway to help them offset the medical expenses, area church members are coming together to lift up the Dwyers.
They are selfless people. Anytime anybody needs anything, they are there. They don't ask questions. They put boots on the ground and they are ready to go. So I think it is time for our community to step up.
An event is planned for February 21st, which will include a silent auction, a hot dog dinner fundraiser, and an open plate for love offerings, inviting people to gather at a gospel sing for Braylon.
And, you know, he had been kind of in and out, going into consciousness, out of consciousness. And they said whenever he first woke up, one of the first things he wanted to do was listen to gospel music and worship.
And while the group is still accepting donations for the silent auction, they say the love for the family has been overwhelming.
There's just people, the community is pouring in. to help these just absolutely amazing people.
As they lean on faith through the fire. In Johnson County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Organizers also hope to have a blood drive at the event, which will kick off February 21st at 5 p.m. at Eastside Free Will Baptist Church in Thelma. 2 Martin County parents are indicted in connection with the death of their 11-year-old child. The child died in August 2025. The coroner says it's been under investigation by his office, state police, and the Department of Social Services. Patrick Spear and Christina Chapman are charged with manslaughter and criminal abuse. Spear is in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. There is a delay in the Amber Spradlin murder case. The 3 defendants were expected to appear in court later this month for a pretrial hearing, but Special Judge Eddie Coleman postponed that until April 3rd. No reason was given for the delay. As of now, the trial is expected to begin May 11th. Spradlin's body was found in June 2023 in Floyd County. M.K. McKinney is accused of killing her. His father, Prestonsburg Dennis Michael McKinney, and family friend Josh Mullins are accused of evidence tampering. A Kentucky bill that addresses affordable housing in the Commonwealth is gaining momentum in Frankfort. House Bill 333 passed the Kentucky House. This would aim to remove regulatory barriers for faith-based organizations looking to develop housing, warming centers, and shelters. The small-scale developments are limited to only 24 housing units, and this is the only for properties owned by religious institutions prior to January of this year.
The bill requires after housing developed under these authority remain affordable for a minimum of 15 years. Affordability is defined with using established federal HUD standards and enforced through a recorded deed restriction.
Shelters still need to act in accordance with fire codes and safety requirements. The bill now heads to the Senate for review. Another bill has been filed in Frankfort that's in response to a protest event that spilled over into a Minnesota church. Representative Mitch Whitaker of Letcher County has filed House Bill 540. He says it's in response to protesters in Minnesota entering a church and disrupting the services there. Representative Whitaker says he was concerned of something happening in his church or a church in Kentucky.
And when I looked at our laws, I saw that there were some loopholes and some problems with the enforcement in the state of Kentucky, and I wanted to clear those up for the sake of people exercising their right to religious liberty.
If passed, the bill would create a crime of interfering with a religious service, a class, or a misdemeanor. As water issues continue in some communities, federal funding is approved for water improvements in Harlan County. The funding was part of a bill signed into law by President Trump earlier last week. The Harlan County Fiscal Court will receive $4 million. Judge Executive Dane Mosley says $2 million will be used for enhancements to Harlan's water system, and $2 million will go towards improving water lines where outages have occurred throughout the county. The Morehead State University Space Science Center is getting more than $7.5 million. The federal funding will provide payload operations for government and commercial space stations, allowing students to continue aerospace education and engineering in partnership with NASA and private space companies. NASA recently selected MSU to track the Artemis II mission, which is scheduled to launch in March. It represents the first human mission to the moon in 50 years. Snow and ice left behind by that major winter storm have created serious challenges for food pantries in eastern Kentucky. In Wolfe County, the Hazel Green Food Project says the weather has slowed operations even as demands remain high. The pantry serves hundreds and at times thousands of households each month, including families in remote areas. Icy parking lots and treacherous roads have made it difficult for trucks and volunteers to safely pick up and distribute food.
When you have a parking lot that's like 2 inches of ice, it's kind of hard for your trucks and your other, people to be able to come and safely pick up. So that has really slowed things down.
With school out for extended periods and many children relying on school meals, Volunteers have been delivering food directly to families who can't get out. Pantry leaders say they're relying more on community support to keep up with the need. If you'd like to help support the Hazel Green Food Project, head to this story on our website, WYMT.com. Some local leaders throughout the mountains are celebrating Black History Month. Although February is designated as National Black History Month, board members with the Southeast Kentucky African American Museum and Cultural Center says Black history is celebrated all year round. Executive Director Emily Hudson says Black history is being made every day and that folks can look to the past for inspiration.
It's ongoing, and you know, we look back at the things that happened in the past that helps us to live here in the present and propels us into the future, and how we learn the lessons from our past will give us an idea of what our future is going to look like.
The organization is currently working with the City of Hazard to develop an immersive information project to display downtown. The project will showcase local Black history. A classic Gothic love story is set for a sizzling Hollywood debut. That and more in a look of today's Eye on Entertainment.
And we're looking dry for the start of your week. However, a couple chances of rain are on the way.